Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we'll have a look at the latest from the live radar, run through the weather warnings as we actually have an ice warning issued across parts of southern and eastern England, as we are going to be seeing some snow showers as we head into tomorrow. There's a possibility of a few centimetres in places, specifically perhaps to the south of London there, and elsewhere could see some really quite slick surfaces as we are seeing the risk of these wintry showers increase quite substantially in the past 24 to 48 hours. We'll have a look at the latest from the UKV, the GM and the Icon to compare what they're showing today to what they were showing yesterday in terms of that snow shower risk. As I said, it is possible that a few areas see a couple of centimetres and quite a large area sees some falling snow for a time through Monday evening. And then, of course, beyond that, we'll check out the longer range because, of course, we have got cold, if not very cold weather coming for the next few days, but significant cold weather, potentially even significant snow, is not something we're seeing in the next couple of days, but it could be something we see in the next few weeks. Of course, we have this long-term trend of the higher pressure to our north at the moment retrogressing towards Greenland and potentially pulling in some proper north or northeasterly winds. Now, of course, we've had a lot of confidence in this over the past 5 days or so now, and there has been some wobbling in the past couple of days, and that has continued today, but the theme still is for this northerly wind to come in. It's just how strong that northerly wind will be and how long it will last seems to be the biggest caveats at the moment. So we'll check out that in the second half of the video. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now, if you start on the live radar, you can see cold air is now moving in, and it is cold enough for some snow across higher ground and further inland. Now, further northwards, you can see showers are coming into parts of Scotland, pretty light, but you can see they are turning wintry over the higher ground and further inland. Across parts of northeast England towards Durham, Sunderland and Newcastle, you can see here we have got showers coming in. Again, right on the coast, most likely to be rain or a bit of a mix because the surface temperatures are still about 3 or 4 degrees, but inland temperatures slightly lower, and over the higher ground we are now seeing snow, and that is pretty similar across the southeast, where we even already have a bit of a train of showers here. Again, mostly rain or a bit of sleet and maybe a few snowflakes mixing in, and then the risk of a bit of snow over some of the higher ground there across parts of Kent. So it is pretty marginal out there at the moment, but it will become less marginal over the next sort of 12 to 24 hours, and by tomorrow most of these showers will be snow as the very cold air does start to move in. But interesting, looking at the latest live radar, these showers are modelled, but they were not modelled this extensive, and that is sometimes a trend we can see where the models do underdo showers. So that will be very interesting to see if that is a similar occurrence tomorrow when the models have actually forecasted and are predicting quite high levels of showers. If it's even higher, more intensity and with more widespread nature than that, then we could be in for a covering in quite a few areas. But we'll look at that in a minute. Now, if you look at the latest for the temperatures, it is a much colder day. Of course, the last sort of week we've been seeing lots of yellows on here, seeing very little yellows at all now, lots of darker blues and even some lighter blues indicating temperatures down close towards the low single digits, if not towards freezing, especially over the higher ground. You can see very cold areas now to our east, and this real cold air is going to get drawn our way. Not the bitterly cold stuff across Scandinavia and Russia, but the pretty cold temperatures down to maybe not getting much above freezing or 1 degree through Monday or Tuesday. Now, I said there is a weather warning issued for tomorrow across parts of the southeast of England. It is from tomorrow until 10 a.m, again for some wintry showers. But this is not the main risk. The main risk is actually through the evening. So the Met Office are issuing a warning already for these wintry showers. I do suspect that this will be extended or changed, as the main risk does actually look like it will be the evening. But because of the uncertainty with this shower activity and the discrepancy we are seeing between the models, I suspect the Met Office aren't going to be putting out warnings more than sort of 12 to 24 hours ahead. So I do suspect we will see an update tomorrow with perhaps an increase in this warning or a new warning issued for wintriness in a similar area. Now, you can see it's from 4 a.m. until 10 a.m, so really only covering the morning, when the rain risk really is in the afternoon into the evening. You can see maybe 1 to 3 centimetres here, and even areas that see Not too much in terms of falling precipitation. The ground is still very saturated, so there could be quite a substantial ice risk in places. Be very interesting to see if we see this warning get updated, or whatever warning or subsequent warnings get issued tomorrow. As I do suspect, from the looks of the latest runs, there could be potentially even a widespread snow and ice warning issued for a couple of centimetres across large parts of southern and eastern England. Now, if you do have a look at the latest from the live radar, you can see at the moment we do have showers forecasted for parts of the northeast and the southeast, but they're nowhere near as extensive on this UKV than they are in reality. Again, perhaps that is signs the UKV is underdoing it, and that is something that is a normal occurrence. The UKV is normally pretty pessimistic in terms of precipitation extensiveness. So if that does occur again tomorrow, then as I said, we could be in for a little bit of a surprise. As we head through this evening, again, showers continue across parts of the north, again, turning more wintry further inland. We could see a re-emergence of showers across the far southeast, again, turning more wintry through this evening, especially further inland. You can see most of the showers by tomorrow morning are now falling as snow. As we progress through Monday, those showers actually become more intense and more widespread through the afternoon and spread further inland. And this is where there is the risk of a bit of a streamer taking off, perhaps, as I said, just to the south of London, where we see those east-northeasterly winds coming through the Thames estuary, picking up moisture and producing quite a few showers along a convergence area. So it is going to be very interesting to see if that does come off, but that is definitely hinted at in the models so far. Those showers continue to progress westwards and do intensify through the afternoon and carry on into the evening before slowly moving westwards and southwestwards as we progress through Monday evening into Tuesday before the shower risk does decrease. By Tuesday it's a sunny day, but much drier and colder. And then as we head into Wednesday, the temperatures will slowly climb up, and we may see a few showers here or there. And by Thursday, temperatures are back to sort of 5 or 6 degrees. Still cold, but not bitterly cold or anything close towards freezing. But still, overnight temperatures could still get close towards freezing. And this is as the high pressure topples, before it does perhaps start to move back towards Greenland retrogress and draw in an even colder northeasterly wind. Now, I can see the latest upper air temperatures. Cold air is in at the moment, but the really cold stuff arrives through this evening into tomorrow. See this big pool of -10 or even down to -12, -13 degrees at 850 HPA move through, and that is going to really fuel those showers. That temperature contrast is really going to big up those showers in places. Again, the UKV has brought forth the timings here, so the showers are coming through in the afternoon instead of the evening like they were yesterday, which will mean that there's less likely to be any accumulations because daytime the temperatures are going to be slightly above freezing. So we will have to see exactly how that does, how that pattern does occur tomorrow. So I have to see exactly how that does play out tomorrow. But yeah, bringing through the cold or bitterly cold air a little bit earlier through tomorrow afternoon than we anticipated yesterday. Eventually, that very cold air does clear through Tuesday, but still it's a cold day on Tuesday as cold air does linger at the surface. For as we head through Wednesday into Thursday, eventually slightly milder air will move in, and it looks pretty mild there, but actually at the surface we've got a trapped layer of pretty cold air, so still is going to remain average to below average for the foreseeable future. If you look at the max temperatures, you can see this afternoon temperatures are well below average, down towards 2 to 4 degrees. Pretty cold indeed. In some areas, not getting much above freezing further northwards. Overnight tonight, we're going to see an extensive frost, the first extensive frost we've seen in a long time, perhaps even close towards a month, back towards early December since we saw our last major widespread frost, and that could be occurring tonight. Again, it will depend on cloud amounts, shower amounts across the east. So we will just have to see exactly how cold it gets. But into tomorrow afternoon, temperatures not rising much above freezing. Most areas 1 to 3 degrees at best, with the wind chill making it feel maybe as much as 5 degrees colder than that. So it is going to be a bitterly cold day tomorrow. I can't emphasise that enough. Yes, thermometer temperatures are just about holding around the 1 or 2 degree mark, but it will feel probably like -2, -3, -4 out there. As we progress through Monday evening, temperatures will rapidly fall below freezing. Another very widespread frost across much of England and Wales, down towards -2 to -4, and even as high as, up towards Scotland, could see a -10 there. Into Tuesday afternoon, temperatures still very cold, 1 to maybe 4 degrees. So yes, upper temperatures rising, but still at the surface it is pretty cold indeed. And Tuesday evening, again, a widespread frost developing. By Wednesday, maybe more towards 5, 6, maybe even an isolated 7. Still chilly though, and that is a similar picture into Thursday. Again, could be a frost in the south. We have more sunshine, and through Thursday afternoon again, maybe 5 to 7 degrees. So it is still staying really chilly, even as the coldest air moves through in the next couple of days. So we will just have to see exactly what happens, but by Wednesday, Thursday time, we should have a very good idea what's happening with the longer term prospects for the Greenland high that could potentially develop. We will just have to see exactly what happens at this stage, but for the foreseeable future, it is looking cold, and the next couple of days, it is looking very cold indeed. Now, I do want to have a look at some of the longer term precipitation charts. If we do start on the icon run, now this has been fairly bullish with showers over the past 24 hours, and you can see as we head through this evening, showers do develop in the morning, and then through tomorrow afternoon, they really take off and continue through the evening into a pretty decent little shower train through much of southern England there. That does progress westwards. And there are two sort of features we need to be aware of. Potential convergence zone to the south of London, and there is the potential for a bit of a feature, a bit of a disturbance through the channel, which could clip the south coast there. You can see more extensive shower activity there across parts of the Channel Islands, northern France, up to potentially towards the Isle of Wight in the southern coastal England. We will just have to see how that does play out. Again, it's one of these things where the models are never 100% correct, and very small differences can make quite a large difference at what you see at the surface. Could be the difference between a few flurries or a couple of hours of light to moderate snowfall. We will just have to see. But most of it does clear through the evening, eventually out into the Atlantic, and things do start to turn drier from Tuesday. If you do have a look at the latest GM, which has been very bullish with its precipitation, again, it is a low resolution model, so it always is going to overdo the showers, but again, we can take sort of the overall area and the typing literally, just can't take the exact intensities and widespread nature of it. As we progress through tomorrow afternoon, you can see showers moving in and quite widespread, and you can see where there's more intensity there, perhaps through the London, even to the north of London there, through parts of the Midlands down towards southwest England, could be quite a big train of showers developing. Again, wouldn't be surprised if there's a covering in a few areas, especially over higher ground. We see some higher intensities. Eventually moves westwards and does clear in the overnight hours, and again, there could be more extensive precipitation towards the channel. Again, have to see how that does develop. One thing I will do, though, is on this GM is run it into the longer term. Because again, we haven't looked at the longer term in quite a lot of detail over the past sort of week or so, but we've not looked at any precipitation charts. Now, we have looked at lots of colder charts in terms of the pressure levels, the upper air temperatures, but we've not looked at any precipitation charts. And I just wanted to show you what would happen if we did see this proper Greenland high come off, which is looking like a reasonable scenario at this stage. The GM is pretty good for a Greenland high today, so I just want to run it into the longer term while we're on the precipitation chart here. See, through Friday into Saturday, the high pressure moves towards Greenland, and then you see the northerly winds open up. Initially rain as milder air is trapped there, but colder air is moving behind, and you can see plenty of snow showers and even some larger, more extensive areas of snow. And by day 10, look at that widespread winteriness, and it is bitterly cold upper air temperatures, widely down towards sort of -8 to as low as maybe -14 across Scotland, and we've got heavy snow for many, and the temperatures are widely down to freezing, if not well below freezing. -10 to -13 degrees being forecasted there, with heavy snow across parts of Scotland. So again, just a little hint of what could come off in the 7 to 10 day time frame if this proper Greenland high does develop, but that still is an if, because we are seeing wobbles from some of the models today. So if you have a look at the latest GFS, see what that is showing. It has had a wobble a couple of days ago, but it's been very much more on board in the past day or two. The GM has probably been in the middle. It's not been too bullish, but it has gone pretty bullish today, and the ECMWF was very strong early on, but having a bit of a wobble in the last day or two. Now, if we go through the GFS, easterly winds come in, high pressure builds towards Greenland, and we see northerly winds take off. Low pressure moves in, and we see that very cold air arrive. Now, instead of the high pressure hanging around Greenland for an extended period of time, 3, 4, 5 days, it really only is there for a day or two. And what that means is we get the very cold air in, but the high pressure topples. So we would get a day or two of very cold, wintry conditions, but very quickly the wintry conditions would subside as high pressure topples. It would stay very cold for a number of days, but it wouldn't be particularly wintry. So it would be a wintry snap instead of a wintry spell. It would still be cold for a prolonged period of time. Even here, as the high pressure has toppled, the upper air temperatures are still very cold. So by the time the northerly wind gets cut off, it's by Tuesday, Wednesday time, but even by Thursday, Friday, it is still cold. So the GFS does produce a prolonged cold spell, 5, 6, maybe 7 days of cold, if not very cold conditions, but only a couple of days of anything with wintry risk because the high pressure does topple quickly. Now this is the risk, is that high pressure doesn't establish itself towards Greenland, and that has been a bit of a trend from some Ensemble members and some runs in the past 24 hours. Now if you look at the GM, on the other hand, easterly winds move in, high pressure moves towards Greenland. It does actually establish itself in towards Greenland and towards northeast Canada, and it does produce very cold, very wintry conditions for us all. Instead, though, the high pressure is moving a little bit westward, so it could become a west-based NAO, and that's something the GEM has been very much on board with over the past few days, but it hasn't really hindered or changed the conditions for us all too much. Here, though, it is almost a perfect wintry chart. Northerly winds, very unstable flow with lots of low pressure around, small low pressure systems, disturbances spiraling within, moving within the system. Moving in the general flow, and yeah, just giving us very cold, wintry conditions. Again, if we looked at the new snow depth, the total snow depth, you can see pretty much covered there, much of northern and western England there, but would spread further southwards and eastwards as well. And the temperature deviation is bitterly cold indeed, and the upper air temperatures are bitterly cold. So yeah, it would be a very cold, very snowy pattern, and would be sustained as well. Now, if you compare to the ECMWF, easterly winds coming in, high pressure moves towards Greenland, and we do see northerly wind arrive, but similar to the GFS, it does take a bit of time to move in, and the high pressure topples, which does mean it would restrict the wintriness here, and it does take a lot longer for that northerly wind to come in, because what we see is a bit of this, we see a low pressure system riding the high, not allowing it to get into Greenland, and delaying that northerly wind. That is something that has been hinted by models, but at this stage, I do think it is a reasonably low risk. But regardless, ECMWF definitely not showing as clear-cut a cold pattern. It still goes cold, it still does go potentially very cold, wintry, especially further northwards, but just not quite as clear-cut. Now, over the last couple of days, I have showed you the UK Met Office run. Again, if we run 168 hours, again, you can see northerly winds coming in. So again, pretty much on board with that cold weather arriving. Again, uncertain though exactly how the high pressure towards Greenland would evolve. And then if we have a look at the Icon run as well, again, northeasterly winds arriving by next Monday, bitterly cold, and would be wintry as well. So Icon very much on board with a very cold wintry pattern. Yes, the high pressure is starting to lose its strength, but most likely would hang on long enough to give a fairly prolonged spell of below average temperatures and wintriness associated with that. Finally, if we look at the latest ensembles, you can see the GFS is fairly bullish on a cold pattern, or very cold pattern, emerging for at least 3 to 5 days there, with increasing wintriness with those higher precipitation spikes. Longer term, though, you can see the uncertainty. A lot of ensemble members do rise more towards average, some even high above average, including the operational run, but others stay much colder. So again, there is a lot of uncertainty here, whether it's going to be a 3 to 5 day cold spell with lots of wintriness around, maybe only a 3 to 5 day spell of cold weather but little wintriness, or something a lot more prolonged. We've got sort of those three sort of scenarios at this stage, and it's difficult really to decipher between them. But yeah, definitely from the GFS, it is looking like it's going to go cold, if not very cold, for at least 3 to 5 days. But after that, it is anyone's guess at this stage. ECMWF, on the other hand, has really gone back on its latest trends. It's pretty much got no bias here. It's got no real definitive scenario. Definitely still has a bit of a colder trend as we progress into next week, but definitely not as bullish as it has been over the past few days. So yes, ECMWF having a bit of a wobble at the moment, but it is impossible to say exactly what will come off with this until we get another couple of days runs going in, and of course we'll have to see other models agree with this as well, because at the moment all the models do disagree with the eSIM. Though we have the GM, the GFS, as we've seen, and of course the Icon run, the UK Met Office run, all showing proper northerly winds coming in, substantially cold northerly winds, not just down towards -5 and then gone, proper cold moving in. So yeah, Eastern North definitely is in the minority at this stage, but it's not unheard of for a model like the Eastern North to lead the way. We will just have to see what happens in the next 24 hours or so. But as said at the start of the video, I'm sure by Wednesday, Thursday, we'll have this ironed out a lot better. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. If you are looking for snow showers tomorrow, do keep an eye on the live radar and the weather warnings. It is going to be one of those where you are just going to have to keep a look on the live radar and out of your window as well. Should be moving through in the afternoon to the early evening. Hopefully I'll have another video out tomorrow evening, having a look at it in sort of as it falls. Yeah, and of course I'll report on any changes to the weather warnings, and of course what is going to happen in the medium to longer range, because even though yes it is going very cold at the moment and potentially very wintry in a few areas tomorrow for a time, the real main course is likely to be in a week or two's time if this pattern does come off. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.